Hey, what's happening? Well, you should know. That's what I'm going to be talking about on this TV log, which that is the show known as What's Happening. This is a Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews TV log. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. I'm Doyle, the Big D. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. And today I'm back with a new TV log. Today I'm going to be talking about one of, if not one of the most funniest African-American sitcoms I come to like. At first it didn't, but soon I realized I missed out on something really funny. A show that recently celebrated its 45th anniversary last year. So now without further ado, I bring to you... What's Happening? What's Happening is an American sitcom originally premiering on ABC in August of 1976. It originally premiered as a summer series with only 4 episodes shown. The show did get good ratings and good reviews, but it wasn't shown again until later on, because after the failure of several other series on the network, the show returned as a weekly series a few months later in November. Until it ended in April of '79. Ratings were modest though. Anyway, loosely based on the film Cooley High, which came out a year before that, which that actually was supposed to be, the Cooley High series, but it never could make it, so it went to reworking and became What's Happening. Now, this was produced by Bud Yorkin and what have you. It's his second series after he ended his partnership with Norman Lear and Tandem Productions. Of course, Lear was the guy best known for bringing us All in the Family, Sanford and Son, Maude, Good Times, and The Jeffersons. So the show was produced by Toy Productions, which was formed by Yorkin along with Saul Turteltaub and Bernie Orenstein after the split. The show follows the lives of 3 working-class African-American teens living in the LA neighborhood of Watts. Now, part of the cast names, well, most of them anyway, have the actual the first names or last names of the actual players. First, we have Ernest Thomas playing the leader of this gang, Roger Raj Thomas. Now, he's the protagonist, and he lives with his divorced mother, Mabel, who is played by Mabel King. That's right. Anyway, who only appeared in the first 2 seasons. Yes, due to a disagreement over the direction the series was going later on. And, of course, his sister Dee, who we'll get to that in a moment. Now, Raj is an intelligent, well-mannered young man who sports large, black, horn-rimmed glasses and aspires to be a writer. Many episodes involve him taking steps to pursue his dream, from saving up for a screenwriting course or a typewriter to trying to impress a TV producer. Eventually, he graduates from high school, moves out, and goes to college. Raj is known for his slender build, high-pitched laugh, and his bizarre style of dancing. For example, one move involves repeatedly placing his chin upon his fist like the Thinker, to the beat of the music. He sometimes tries to impress older women by talking in a baritone voice. And he also mumbles when there is something that he does not wish to say, but knows he must. Especially if it's bad news. Then he's joined by his 2 good friends. Next up is Frederick Freddie Rerun Stubbs, played by the late Fred Berry. He's a bumbling comedic young man with a friendly personality, commonly seen wearing a red beret and various suspenders. He's often teased by his friends for being overweight and unintelligent. He is nicknamed Rerun because, due to his failing grades in school, every summer he has to go to school to rerun the stuff he did all winter. However, he is an energetic and talented dancer who enters a dance contest and the Gong Show and auditions for a dance troupe and tries to get on a TV commercial. In the third season, Rerun shares an apartment with Raj and works as a page for ABC. Next, and finally, the youngest of the group, Dwayne Clemens Nelson, played by Haywood Nelson. Anyway, Dwayne has an unassuming, good-natured demeanor and suffers from the debilitating shyness and acute fear of the dark. Dwayne's plot lines often deal with his problems with girls, bullies, and his uncertain future. Dwayne is known for his green. He's like, hey, hey, hey! Not to be confused with a certain animated character called Fat Albert, who, of course, I'll be talking about in my Saturday morning Tvlog this weekend. And it said, nuh-uh, when he denies or refuses something. Now, Dwayne is the only character who appears in every episode, as there were 65 episodes produced and aired over the course of the show's 3 seasons. Now, next up, I'll get to Raj's mother, Mabel. She's typically the voice of wisdom and authority, and a parental figure for Dwayne and Rerun, who approach her for advice as well. Mabel's ex-husband, Bill, played by Thalmus Rasulullah, who I soon saw he was recently in the blaxploitation horror flick Blackula, and he's been on several other programs as well. He drifts in and out of her life during the first season, but appeared in the second season when he got remarried to his steady girlfriend in the Thomas household. Her role became less important in later episodes, and eventually she disappeared from the show altogether, although her character was never written out and was still referred to. And her trademark phrase was, "This is true," when agreeing with a statement someone made. Now, as I mentioned, it was reportedly, I had forgotten to mention, who knows, King left the show due to a disagreement over the direction the series was going. Mabel King is who I'm talking about. Anyway, now for the real craziness, and that is Raj's younger sibling, Dee, played by Danielle Spencer. Now, in the show's first season, she's irksome and rude and what have you, and says things that are well beyond her years. She is shrewd and obsessed with making money, usually by blackmailing Raj and his friends a quarter at a time. As the series progressed and Dee grew older, her caustic personality mellowed into a sly sense of sarcasm, which included continuous insults of Rerun based on his weight and his stupidity, and she became more likable and clashed less with Raj. After Raj moved into an apartment in the third season, Dee remained in the Thomas house with Shirley moving in to help out. We'll get to her in just a second. And her trademark phrase is, "Ooh, I'm telling Mama," or "Oh, you're gonna get it," when she witnesses or hears about a wrongdoing, especially by her brother. Oh boy, yeah. Dee's crazy, but I do like that about her. I mean, especially in this one episode in the first season called the Burger Queen. Yeah, she gets into putting this commercial, and the guy who's trying to promote this commercial for his burger chain and says that the burgers are good for and 100% meat, and Dee's like, "A jackass is not 100% meat, but I don't see anybody standing in line to get one." Oh, brother. See, this gal's crazy, but I like it. But I like it. Okay, enough said. Finally, we come to Shirley Wilson, played by Shirley Hemphill, who was just a recurring character in the first season, but then was added to the core cast in the intro for the remainder of the series. Now, she's a waitress at the neighborhood soda shop Rob's Place, where the main cast are regular patrons. She is a brash person who likes to take shots at the boys and often clashes with Rira as they are both overweight. Some episodes turn the spotlight briefly on her and her joys and sorrows. Now, in the third season, Shirley moves into the Thomas household to be a guardian to Dee after Raj moves out and Mrs. Thomas leaves to tend to a sick relative. Henceforth, now you know. There's lots of others and what have you that get added later on. I've already mentioned about Mabel's ex-husband, Bill. But I'll give you a little more heads up and what have you. He abandoned his family when Dee was 1 month old and became a shady character. When he first appears, he tries to con Mabel out of money, but in later episodes, he is depicted in a more positive light. After his on-screen marriage to Lee Henderson, played by Lee Chamberlain, Bill was never seen again on the show, although he continued to be mentioned off-screen. Now, he did appear in the second season premiere of its spin-off show, What's Happening Now, in the 80s. I'll explain more about that when we get to it, but I'm not going to talk about that show, maybe until later on in the future. Let's see. Now, later on in the third season, we get introduced to a police detective who lives in the apartment building where Raj and Reed run moving to. Detective Earl Barnett, Big Earl to you all. He is involved in undercover and stakeout operations that sometimes require him to wear ridiculous disguises. And there's also his youngster of a kid, Lil Earl. Now, apparently, he has a crush on Dee, who is about 5 years his senior, you know. Believe me, I can't believe this. I mean, it's like, I don't know. This is indicated by Little Earl addressing Dee with different terms of endearment. Although Dee politely returns Little Earl's greetings, she remains oblivious to his crush on her. So, in a way, she's not quite like Harriet is to Jamie on Small Wonder, but, well, of course, that wasn't out until 1985 as well, you know. But anyway, there's lots of other characters as well. They also had some guest appearances, including the Doobie Brothers. Let's see. Theodore Wilson. Sorrel Book, who, of course, before he even played Boss Hogg on The Dukes of Hazzard. Tim Reed, who, of course, would later go on to do WKRP in Cincinnati, and Simon Simon. And Irene Cara as well. But anyway, lots of others as well. Now, at first I didn't quite think of the show to be much, but soon I watched a little bit of it was on YouTube, and I soon started to like it. Never could get to see a whole lot of it, because it soon got removed for copyright. But years later, I had gotten the complete series. I've got it in my closet, though. I don't want to dig to get it, but I do have the complete series. After a total of 65 episodes were produced and aired, the show ended in April of 1979. Then, 6 years later, the show would return in the form of What's Happening Now. But anyway, of course, that show was more of a continuation. Raj is now married and what have you. And we do get to see Shirley and Dwayne a bit, but unfortunately we only get to see Rira in the first season. We get to see Dee in, well, special appearances and what have you. But I'll talk about that show sometime down the road. Anyway, the show did well and what have you throughout its run. Anyway, so with 65 episodes, it did reasonably well in syndication. In some markets, the show was perceived to appeal to both kids and adults, just like The Brady Bunch, which was recently a hit for ABC, and Happy Days, which was big on ABC at the time. Anyway, the show was often aired in transitional hours where stations would change their after-school programming lineup from cartoons to evening sitcoms in the 80s. Anyway, and then of course that's when they gave What's Happening Now around, which just like its predecessor ran for 3 seasons as well from 85 to 88. Now, of course, the whole series is currently available on. I got the Sony release, but it's also been re-released from Mill Creek, so you might be able to find it for a reasonable price at this point. Either of those. And Mill Creek only re-released the first 2 seasons. The third never did get a re-release. So you'd have to get Sony's if you already have the first 2 seasons and don't have the third one. So enough said. Anyway, yeah. The show got rerun on BET in the mid 90s. TV Land re aired it from 2005 to 2006. So did the cable network TV One, and the Encore Black channel started airing this as well. More recently, Antenna TV has been airing it, but, well, it's not on there anymore. But they plan to bring that show back, or I think they've already got back, but I might be wrong, though. Anyway, now you know about what's happening. I'm sure maybe some of y'all have actually seen this episode, but if you haven't, this is one show you need to check out. So if you do, check out because it's fun and it's got pretty good music. Oh, by the way, that's another thing I forgot to tell you about. If you listen to the theme and the theme song, I didn't know if it was good or not, but after checking it out again, I realized I was wrong and I liked it. It was composed by one of my few favorite composers, the late great Henry Mancini. That's right, you heard me correctly. The man who did the themes to the Pink Panther and Peter Gunn actually composed the theme to this series, which that's absolutely really funny. Alright, so now you know about what's happening, and it's one funny show. Well, it might not quite have been as big as some of those other African American sitcoms that were out at the time, like The Jeffersons, or Good Times, or heck, even Sanford and Son, which of course was in its final season at the time this show premiered. But even so, what's happening? Definitely worth looking into. But if you've seen what's happening, tell me what you thought about the show. And you could tell me what you like. You could tell me who your favorite character is, or what have you. You be the judge, okay? Anyway, let me know what you think of the show, or again, tell me who your favorite character is. I like all the characters. Just tell me in the comment section below. And if you like this, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you my Saturday morning TV log of Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. Thanks again for watching, and if you like this, you may want to consider checking out these other shows and what have you. In the upper left-hand corner is the TV log I did for Sanford and Son last month. The upper right-hand corner is my review for the film that inspired this series, Cooley High from 1975. Or if you want something more fun, you can go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my recent ranking of the Zoomers from the 4th season of PBS's Zoom. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. And I'm happy to report that I'm finally at 400. Hopefully for good. Just stay tuned. When I get my schedule up, we'll see if it's 110% official, okay? That's it. So until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.